Hi, I'm Mrs. Mason. Welcome to day 12 of growing alligators. Yesterday we had some strange things happen to our growing alligators, and I put a new alligator in the tap water just out of curiosity to see if I could collect some data that might support the data that we collected at the beginning of our investigation. So grab your science notebook, let's do some observations and see what the data is going to tell us. For our third grade gators, I added an additional tap water gator yesterday. I took an identical gator that was 6 centimeters long and 1.7 grams and put it in the 250 milliliters of tap water. So be sure and write that down in your notes, and then we will get some measurements. So for our third grade gator, this has really been a perfect example of why we really need to do multiple trials. If you remember yesterday when I changed the water on day 11, my gator doubled in size. And so now the data is showing that whether or not we put a gator in tap water or distilled water, there really isn't a lot of difference. So in order to find out which data is correct, is it the data at the bottom or is it the data at the top, I started a brand new gator from scratch. So I covered it in 250 milliliters of tap water, and this was the results after the first day. So it started out at 6 centimeters, and overnight it gained. Now it is 8.2 centimeters. It started out at 1.7 grams, and it is already at 5.9 grams. So this will be soaking over the weekend, and on Monday we will double check. But the grow gator that I just put in there was already in one day bigger than this gator was after soaking for 10 days. So on Monday we'll look at the data again, and we'll see if our gator has made any changes. For our fourth grade gators, you can see there's quite a bit of salt on the outside of each of the gators. They've got a white coating. The bottoms tend to be a little bit darker. They're still a little damp as they're starting to dry out. And so just write some observations in your notebook. As far as data for day 12, the gators are a little bit smaller. The mass of the 45 grams of salt water is now 2.7, and the mass of the 90 grams of saltwater gator is 2.4 grams. For our fifth grade gators, I noticed that the gator in the hydrogen peroxide and in the vinegar really stopped growing after day 10. It hasn't gotten much bigger. So we can go ahead and take the gator in the hydrogen peroxide and the gator in the vinegar. We can take it out because it hasn't really changed. It's the gator in the tap water that we are trying to really continue to collect data on in order to really get a good conclusion, to get some results for this particular investigation. So for our fourth and fifth grade gators, we have some that have completely stopped growing. So we're going to take those out of the liquid and continue to track their progress as they begin to shrink back to their regular size. For third grade, we're going to continue to monitor the gators that are in the tap water, and I added a new one to the data collection in order to compare our results. We're going to do some multiple trials and see which one works. These gaiters, I looked on the Steve Spangler website, and these gaiters are made out of a polymer, which is a type of absorbent material. It's the kind of absorbent material you would find on the inside of a diaper, and they're meant to absorb water and liquids. So I have a theory about why it didn't start to absorb for the first 10 days and what happened when I refreshed the water. But I'd like to see your comments. What do you think happened?